Okay, so we're back again, and this week we're diving into what is shaping up to be one of those matches that just has everyone on the edge of their seats. Sunday night, Atletico Madrid, FC Barcelona at the Wanda Metropolitano.
Yeah, it can't really get much bigger than this in La Liga.
Yeah.
And that atmosphere at the Wanda, under the lights, 9 p.m. kickoff, it's going to be electric.
I was going to say, you can practically feel the anticipation building already, right? So we've been doing what we do best, digging into all the details that matter, the stats, the tactical setups, recent form, all of it, to try to understand what makes this matchup so intriguing.
Like peeling back the layers, going beyond those initial reactions you get when you see the fixture list. Sometimes the things that make a match really compelling aren't always obvious at first glance.
And that's what we're all about, right? Giving our listeners that extra level of insight. So let's get into it. At its core, this game really boils down to a clash of styles, wouldn't you say? Two very different approaches to playing the game.
Yeah, you got Atletico under Simeone, the epitome of that disciplined, tough to break down kind of team. They're usually set up in that classic 4-4-2, really compact and organized. Their whole game is built on frustrating opponents, soaking up pressure, and then hitting them hard on the counterattack.
It's so effective, isn't it? I mean, how many times have we seen teams just completely lose their patience trying to unlock that Atletico defense?
Countless times. It's almost like a psychological battle as much as a tactical one. And then on the other side, you've got Barcelona. Now, it's true that managerial changes can tweak things a bit, but generally speaking, they'll likely go with that dynamic 4-3-3 formation that we've come to associate with them.
Possession-based football, trying to win the ball back as high up the pitch as possible. It's that age-old question in football. Irresistible force meets immovable object. How does a team like Barcelona break down a side as defensively solid as Atletico?
Exactly. And how does a team like Atletico exploit the spaces that inevitably open up when a team like Barcelona commits so many players forward? That's what makes this match so captivating. You've got these two opposing forces colliding, and it's going to be fascinating to see which one prevails.
So let's break it down a bit further, starting with those key players who we expect to have a big influence on the game. For Atletico, you got to start with the man between the sticks, Jan Oblak. I mean, is he even human at this point? Some of the saves he pulls off are just ridiculous.
He's like a one-man wall back there.
Yeah.
He single-handedly won them so many points over the years. And then you have Koke in midfield. I think he's often overlooked, but he's absolutely vital to how Atletico plays. The way he dictates the tempo, breaks up play, and links defense to attack. He's just so crucial to their system.
Yeah, he's the engine, isn't he? Keeps everything ticking over. And I'm curious to see how the absence of Angel Correa, who's suspended for this one, will impact Atletico's attack.
That's a big loss for them. Correa brings so much energy and creativity going forward. It'll be interesting to see if João Félix takes on a more central role with Correa out. He's shown flashes of brilliance, but can he consistently deliver in a big game like this?
That's the question, right? Simeone will be hoping he steps up to the plate. Now, switching over to Barcelona, who are the players we need to be watching closely?
Well, in midfield, it all revolves around Pedri these days. The guy just sees the game differently. His vision, his passing range, he can unlock defenses with a single pass. I'm really interested to see how Atletico tries to contain him.
Yeah, he's special, isn't he? And then you have Ansu Fati, who seems to have rediscovered that electrifying form he showed before his injury. He's such a threat with his pace and directness. If he gets any space behind Atletico's defense, he could be lethal.
Absolutely. Those two, Pedri and Fati, they really represent the essence of Barcelona's attacking philosophy. And defensively, I think the return of Andreas Christensen is massive for them, especially with Ter Stegen still out injured.
Yeah, having Christensen back will give them some much-needed experience and solidity at the back. It's interesting, isn't it, just thinking about how these individual player battles are going to play out. You can almost picture the key duels in your mind.
Totally. Atletico's back four, so well-drilled, trying to hold off Barcelona's dynamic front three. The midfield battle for control with Koke trying to nullify Pedri's influence. It's going to be a tactical chess match.
And then, of course, there's the clash of philosophies. Will Atletico be able to withstand Barcelona's relentless passing and movement? Or will Barcelona's high press leave them vulnerable to those lightning-quick Atletico counterattacks?
So many questions. And only 90 minutes, well, probably more like 100 with added time to get those answers.
Right, let's shift gears a bit and look at the recent form of both teams, because that often gives us a clue as to how they might approach this game. Atletico's last 7 matches, well, they haven't exactly been setting the world on fire, have they? 3 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, scoring about 1.4 goals a game, conceding around 1. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not the kind of form that screams, we're going to dominate this match. The interesting thing for me is that they've had a few defensive lapses at home recently, which isn't typical for them. The Wanda Metropolitano is usually a fortress, but they've shown some vulnerabilities in those last 6 home games.
That's interesting, isn't it? It makes you wonder if maybe there's a slight chink in the armor that Barcelona might be able to exploit.
Maybe. Now, contrast that with Barcelona's recent run. They've been on a roll. 5 wins, a draw, and just 1 loss in their last 7. They're averaging 2 goals a game and conceding less than 1. That kind of consistency breeds confidence.
Yeah, that's the form of a team that believes they can go anywhere and get a result. So even though Atletico has the home advantage, you have to say, based purely on recent form, Barcelona has the edge.
Definitely. They're looking really solid at the moment, both going forward and defensively. It's going to take a huge effort from Atletico to stop them.
So it sounds like, from a momentum standpoint, Barcelona might be in the driver's seat. And the stats seem to back that up. When we look at clean sheet probabilities, Barcelona has a slightly higher chance, around 40%, compared to Atletico's 35%. That's pretty significant, considering Barcelona's missing their first-choice goalkeeper.
Yeah, it is. I think it speaks to the overall strength of their defensive unit, even without Ter Stegen. The guys who have stepped in for him have done a great job, and their high press is so effective that it often prevents opponents from even getting shots on target.
And at the other end of the pitch, the numbers tell a similar story. The probability of Barcelona failing to score is much lower than Atletico's. It seems like they're just a much more reliable attacking unit right now.
They've got so many different ways to hurt you. You shut down one avenue and another one opens up. It's a real headache for opposing defenses. And when you look at the average goals scored over those last 7 games, again, Barcelona has the advantage.
Yeah, 2 goals per game compared to Atletico's 1.4. That suggests they're just more likely to create and convert those scoring opportunities. And finally, when we look at overall winning rates, Barcelona's consistency shines through again. 57% of their recent matches ending in victory compared to 42% for Atletico.
Yeah, and that's a key stat, right? Being able to grind out results even when you're not playing your best. It's a hallmark of a championship caliber team.
Okay, so let's talk about the impact of those players who might be missing or who are coming back from injury. We've already touched on Correa's suspension for Atletico, and there's a bit of a cloud hanging over one of their central defenders. How much do you think Correa's absence will affect them?
It's a blow for sure. He's a real spark plug for them. Someone who can create something out of nothing. It'll put more pressure on guys like Felix and Llorente to provide that attacking impetus.
Yeah, they'll need to step up. Now, for Barcelona, Ter Stegen is still out, but they seem to have coped pretty well without him, and the return of Christensen is a big boost for their defense.
Yeah, Christensen brings that calm presence and leadership to the back line. And having a fully fit midfield and attack is crucial for Barcelona. They rely so heavily on that fluidity and interplay in those areas.
It seems like Barcelona's squad depth is giving them a bit more stability heading into this one, wouldn't you say? They've got options, whereas Atletico has a couple of key holes to fill.
I'd agree with that. So now, looking at what all of this means for Sunday's match, our models are giving Barcelona a slight edge with a 37% chance of winning. A draw is also looking quite plausible at 33%, with Atletico's win probability sitting around 30%.
So it's a tight one, but Barcelona is the favorite. That makes sense considering their form and squad stability.
Yeah, the data points in that direction. But as we always say, probabilities are just one piece of the puzzle. Atletico at home, under the lights, in a big game like this, you can never count them out.
Exactly, and those probabilities for a draw are pretty high, so it could definitely end up being a stalemate. The betting markets also give us some interesting insights. The double chance market for a Barcelona win or draw is around 70%, which is quite high.
That's a good option for those who want to play it a bit safer. It covers 2 out of the 3 possible outcomes, and the odds are usually pretty decent.
And the over-under 2.5 goals market suggests it could be a fairly entertaining game from a goal-scoring perspective. 55% for over 2.5 goals, 45% for under.
Yeah, it's almost a 50-50 split, which tells you it could go either way. The bookmakers are anticipating goals, but they're not ruling out a tight, low-scoring affair.
And when we look at the most likely score lines, it's pretty much what you'd expect. 1-2 Barcelona, 1-1 draw, 2-1 Barcelona. All close, all suggesting a tense, hard-fought match.
So if you're thinking about having a little flutter on the game, what are some strategic angles to consider? Well, as we've discussed, Barcelona's form and that double chance market look pretty attractive.
Yeah, that's probably the safest bet. Now, if you're feeling a bit more adventurous, combining both teams to score with over 2.5 goals in a parlay could be tempting.
That's definitely a possibility. Both teams have the firepower to get on the score sheet, and the odds for that kind of parlay can be quite appealing.
And for those who prefer a more conservative approach, maybe a double chance Barcelona win or draw combined with under 3.5 goals offers a good balance of risk and reward.
Exactly. So to wrap things up, we've got a clash of styles. Atletico's defensive strength against Barcelona's attacking flair. Barcelona has the edge statistically, but Atletico will be fired up for this one. And the probability suggests it's going to be a close game, potentially with a few goals, but it could really go either way.
So much to look forward to. But remember, folks, this is football. Anything can happen. One moment of magic, one defensive error, one tactical masterstroke, and all the predictions can go out the window.
That's the beauty of the game, right? The unpredictability. So as you're watching this match unfold, consider this. What unexpected element, what individual brilliance, what tactical twist do you think will ultimately determine the outcome of this epic encounter?
Great question. Let us know your thoughts. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive, and we'll see you next time.
See you then.